Live to tape.
Welcome to Millennial, episode 38. I'm Andrew.
I'm Elisa.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Matt.
If Elisa sounds like she's dying this week, that's because she actually is.
This is our announcement.
Just in time for Halloween. Hashtag divide by 3.
I am.
Hashtag RIP. Elisa.
Yes. Rest in peace, me.
Rest
in pease.
Before we started the show, Elisa was like, I'm ready. We were like, you sure?
It'll get better as I talk.
Is it just a cold, Elisa? Like, what's wrong with you?
Many things, but at the moment, I think it's just a cold. There's something going around my office at work, and everyone I know here is sick. So whatever, it's fine. I'll just die. It's not a big deal. Speaking
of death, 2 presidential campaigns have died this week. Lincoln Chafee is out. He was running for the Democrats. And we also found out that Uncle Joe Biden is not running after all.
Oh.
But Laura and Elisa, you two must have been shocked about that, because last week we recorded and you guys were talking about him potentially running. And then right before we were going to release the episode, he announced that he wasn't. So we decided to just edit that segment out, but it is on Patreon. So were you guys surprised?
I swear to God, like, the DNC probably had his grandchildren in a holding cell somewhere being like, you're not going to run, bitch. Don't do it. And that's why he didn't run. It was really weird.
I have to say, so Laura and I have talked about this. Neither she nor I actually thought he was going to run up until last week.
Yes.
It didn't make any sense that he would run at this point. With Hillary so far ahead, he didn't make it in time for the debate. That didn't make sense. But then I had someone that I know personally is best friends with the super PAC that was getting geared up for the Biden campaign. So we had it straight from the super PAC that he was going to be running. And
there was a super PAC already started for him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it called like Recruit Joe, Enlist Joe or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. Like Enlist Joe 2016, I don't know. But we had it, me and my friend had it straight from the super PAC that he was running, and they were gearing up and everything. I met with them for lunch and they were primed and ready. And then 24 hours later, he says he's not running, and we were all surprised by the turnaround.
No, and it was weird because there were reports being leaked about him staffing his campaign. There were a number of very well-connected individuals tweeting about it. So that's why I was convinced.
Was one of them Don Lemon? Because that would have been a clear sign that it wasn't
Do you think that I would ever take any information from Don Lemon unless it's about black holes or marijuana? No.
It makes me wonder whether or not the campaign or someone leaked the idea that he would be running just to gauge public opinion and donor support. And then maybe he didn't work out. That's a cynical political side of me thinks that. But then again, he's been through so much lately with his son dying and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys notice, though, that Barack was with him when he announced that he wasn't running?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
Okay. So I gotta be honest. I did not share any excitement about him in general being a contender candidate for the president. I never once ever thought that he was actually going to run. And I've kind of felt like kind of out of the loop because you guys were like getting really excited or really, worked up about it. And I just did not share it at all. And I feel like it's because maybe it's because I don't follow politics as much as the three of you guys do. But like when people are saying like Joe Biden's like Joe, still has some time, but it's getting late. Like I have no idea who the fuck this guy is.
Well,
he's the vice president.
I know, as the vice president. But, like, I don't know really anything that he stands for or much of his policies or anything. So when, like, people are getting excited or worried that he's going to be, butting heads with Hillary as far as, like, trying to split up the Democratic Party, like, that's the only thing that I was following was, yeah, if he does run as president, for president, that will kind of split up the support for Hillary.
People liked him because he wasn't crazy like Bernie, and he didn't have a lot of baggage like Hillary. He was just Joe. He's just Uncle Joe, and he was thinking about running for president. It was pretty simple and straightforward, and that's why everybody liked him.
Yep.
So,
well.
Yep. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now.
Next time. So, Laura, do you want to tell us about Jeb, who may be out?
Yes. Yeah, so this is a really interesting thing. Speaking of people who may be dropping, for anyone who's been keeping an eye on Jeb's campaign this week, there have been some rumors that he's going to pull out of the race soon because he actually cut his campaign staffers' salaries by 40% on Friday. Did you guys see that?
I cannot believe this. There was so much hope for Jeb.
I mean, yeah, look at his campaign. Jeb.
I obviously everybody's seen there's been missteps left and right. He's made dumb comments. He made a dumb remark about Supergirl, calling Supergirl hot last week.
Yeah.
Well, she is.
Yeah, but it's not the most presidential thing to say. Yeah.
Well, neither is anything that Donald Trump has said, nor Ben Carson.
This would just bum me. I don't really like him as a candidate, but it would just bum me out because he was one of the first people who entered, and I think he's one of the more sane candidates.
Yeah, I mean, so I was actually talking to my grandparents this weekend. My grandparents are Republicans. I don't know if that shocks anybody, but,
nope.
They're not crazy people. And they were both saying they find Jeb to be very uninspiring. They find him to be kind of like, I don't know, very forgettable. Because he's not really trying to make the public aware of his platform or the types of policies that he would want to enact. He's only been like reacting to people like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So his whole campaign has been a reaction. So I think sane, rational Republicans are kind of looking at him and going like, yeah, you're not insane, but you're also not going to, like, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you stand for. And your last name is Bush.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the thing they kept getting at was they were like, we don't want another one of those. So
with sharing that tie to President George W. and hell, the Bush before that, sharing that connection, you really have to have a strong message and your own personal individual platform. And I just don't think he did a good job communicating that, or he has done a good job communicating that. I think he's a really smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with him on everything, obviously. I think he's a very intelligent, smart individual, and he knows how to govern, but he makes for such a boring, terrible candidate. There's no charisma. There's no messaging. There's none of that, which isn't a reason for him to drop out. I'm very disappointed if that ends up happening because I do think he's one of the sane, rational ones. Mm-hmm. So I'm not supporting that.
He's one of the two.
Right. He's
rational ones.
He's one of the few that exist. So I'd be disappointed if this were the case. But at the same time, I can also understand how he's not really eliciting a lot of passion.
Now, do you think this is a problem purely because Jeb is so uninspiring? Or is it because we're over a year out from the election and it's hard to keep up momentum for that long?
That too.
Like, do you think it's some combination of the two, or you think it's just him? He's like tapioca. Like,
no,
nobody wants him.
I think it's both. But I think it's both, which is why I'm hoping he doesn't drop out, because if you look at past elections, being where we are right now is, in the past, has not been a very good barometer for who actually ends up getting the nomination or who actually wins. So hopefully he sticks it out. But that kind of depends on the donors, to be honest with you. A campaign can only last as long as its finances. And he needs, like, that's the sad reality of politics in this country. You can't travel and meet people and tour the country and go to debates if you're broke. So we'll see what happens.
Expect more fireworks on Wednesday. There's another Republican debate happening on CNBC.
Oh, boy.
Well, actually, though, Elisa, this year it's kind of taken a turn when you're talking about like super PACs and money, because this is the first year where like a candidate has received so much money strictly from voters, from citizens. It's Bernie Sanders. He has made more money from citizens of the country, more than any other candidate in U.S. history, and it has nothing to do with any super PACs or even that much money. Like he has gotten an overwhelmingly amount of money. I
know. Well, hopefully Bush can take a page out of his book, maybe Bush is the dark horse who learns how to grassroots campaign $1 at a time. I'd be surprised, but that would be interesting.
I mean, considering this is the guy who checked the wrong box on race, I'm not sure we can have much hope for that.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, I tripped and accidentally said that I was Hispanic.
What? How does that happen?
That would be a very good question for Jeb. Anyway. Okay.
There were more pressing matters this week from the New York Magazine. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yeah, okay, so... So for some reason, the New York Times this week, or New York Times Magazine to be specific, decided to tweet a picture of results from a question that they asked their readers earlier. And the question they asked was, and I quote, "Dear reader, could you kill a baby Hitler?" And the results, what they tweeted was a pie chart in the shape of a baby pacifier. Now, let's just skip the fact that this is kind of random and kind of just way fucking out there, especially from the New York Times Magazine. But what would your guys' answer be?
Well, that's why I find it so great. It's like the New York Times, of all publications, decides to just randomly tell the world, "Hey world, we happen to survey our readers asking if they wanted to kill, if they would have killed a baby Hitler." Say I would have voted yes.
Okay, why?
Because he ended up killing however many people he killed. He was a horrible person.
Right.
Well, I want to meet the person who says no. I'm sorry. I want to meet the person who says no. We're going to assume here though, right, that there's no loopholes. Okay? Right. No genie in a bottle loopholes. Like, we know this baby in front of me is actually Hitler. It's not accidentally some innocent child.
Right.
We know that unless we do it, unless we kill him, that all those innocent people will die. If we operate under those assumptions, who would say no to this?
Well, I guess because it's still a baby.
Think wasn't there an episode of The Twilight Zone about this?
That would make sense.
There was some crazy twist where they did it and killing Hitler actually ended up causing the deaths of more people.
Right.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, but if we're actually lending any credence to the possibility of going back in time and killing Hitler, we can talk about The Twilight Zone.
No.
Well, okay, so this is my issue or question about all this. Now, I will actually say that I am not sure, and I'll tell you why. Why.
Because you're anti-Semitic.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Well, fuck. Now I can't say anything. No. All right, so let's just assume that this is all possible. Time travel is possible, and if we go back in time to do this, we'll solely just eliminate, quote unquote, kill Hitler, and nothing else. So we don't do a butterfly effect of any other kind. But so if we do that and we kill Hitler back in time, the question, I guess the biggest question is it ethical to kill one person to save 40 plus million people?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would take that baby apart limb by limb. No regrets.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm on Wolf Blitzer's show right now.
Absolutely.
But then this is
maybe
ridiculous.
It's because I watch so much sci-fi, but have you guys seen the movie 12 Monkeys?
Yeah.
Okay. So, or the Terminator. Actually, it would be a better example. Reese, I think his name is, goes back in time to help his friend John Connors' mother from getting murdered by the Terminator. And by doing so, he actually is the father of John Connor. And he actually dies. And the whole reason of going back in time was actually incidentally he already did this, that he's actually doing what was already done. And I understand
that there's all these shows and there's all these loopholes and yada, yada, yada. But that's not compelling enough to me. Riddle me this. What happens if you decide not to kill baby Hitler and then you are transported back to normal times? How do you live with yourself then? How do you live with yourself then?
Or because you're an American hero, a world hero?
No. I'm saying if you don't kill baby Hitler and you come back and you have to witness him grow up and kill literally millions of people, including, by the way, other babies. How do you live with yourself?
I think now, after sitting and listening to this back and forth, I understand exactly how Congress works.
Okay, so I want to do one more. I just want to put one more quick information. I know, because we have so much. Or I could just talk about it in After Dark if you guys want. It has something to do with the book that Stephen Fry wrote. So I could just talk about that.
We could easily talk about this more now.
Because I actually argue with you guys about this.
And I want to know what other babies you guys would kill. I could think of one. Baby Micah.
I can't.
Oh, yes.
God.
All right, let's
this is going to be a rough ride, guys.
Little baby chair.
I just can't with you.
So quick Patreon update. A couple of great updates. First of all, we have moved the Millennial at the Movies milestone down a couple $100 to $3,800 per month. That means we're very close to hitting that milestone. And if a few of you guys sign up for the t-shirts, which are still available, by the way, we can hit that soon. And remember, that milestone means we are going to do our first ever live, or not live necessarily, but our first ever movie commentary. You guys are going to help us select what movie we will commentate, and then we'll release it, and then you can play it back with the movie at home, and it'll be like watching the movie with us. And the reason we wanted to get to that one is we lowered it is because we want to get to it sooner so we could start focusing on the host challenges milestone.
God, I really hope it becomes Sleepover Camp. If you guys haven't seen it, it's, oh my God.
And one other quick plug. We just launched a survey on millennialshow.com. You'll find an article right at the top of the site asking you to please take our Patreon survey. This is going to take 2 minutes. We want everybody to take it, even whether or not you are a Patreon subscriber, whether or not you were signed up and then canceled, or maybe you just signed up, whatever. Please take this survey. It's going to help us improve the Patreon. We're thinking of new benefits. We're thinking of long-term. We have one big idea in mind that we're slowly but surely putting together that will change the show in a big way, in a good way. But first, we want to understand how you all feel about the Patreon. So please, go to millennialshow.com, and right at the top, you'll see a link to the survey. And thank you for taking the time to do that. Basically, we just want to know how can we get you interested in the Patreon if you're not a supporter, and if you are a supporter, what can we do to make sure you hang around for as long as possible? We want you guys to be really happy with it. Or how to just
improve.
Yeah. How do we better serve you?
How to just improve.
I like this.
All right, let's move on to the news now. Laura's going to kick us off.
Yeah. So for those of you who remember our vegetarian challenge from a couple months back, the World Health Organization released a study on Monday determining that processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham cause cancer, while unprocessed red meat may also cause cancer.
I hate this.
There's more though. Listen to this. So the World Health Organization's Cancer Research Unit now classifies processed meat as carcinogenic to humans based on evidence from hundreds of studies and linked it specifically to colon cancer. The report outlined that eating the equivalent Can you let me finish? Okay. The report outlined that eating the equivalent of 2 slices of ham a day can increase the risk of cancer by 18%. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing while I say that.
You're laughing about cancer, Laura.
I'm not. Cancer runs in my family. I have a really high likelihood of getting cancer.
But at this point, doesn't cancer run in everybody's family? Isn't everyone dying?
Some more than others.
Well, everybody's got a chance. Here, what's true?
Andrew's so fatalistic. He's like, we're all dying.
All gonna
Gonna die anyways. We're doomed. On one hand, I have a hard time listening to these studies because you could find a study about anything, about how sitting too long is going to kill you, how standing too long is going to kill you, how staying vegetarian is going to kill you. I'm sure there's a study about that. It's just like, can I really take this seriously? On the other hand, well, this one's probably right because it's meat, and meat.
Right. Well, I mean, life kills you.
Life does kill you.
Yeah. Oxygen is actually poisonous to humans. It just slowly kills us. Sorry, was I getting too deep?
Oh, I didn't know that. Some of our listeners did point out, though, they were like, well, like, is this really a surprise that processed meats processed anything can cause cancer if you eat enough of it?
That's very true.
Yeah, I love me some bacon, though, sometimes. Love me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
What was this, what's this quote you put in here, Andrew? Want to eat meat?
Okay, so I have a new slogan. Maybe we can print this on a shirt or something, but it's just something to keep in mind if you don't want to get cancer from eating meat. Here we go. Want to eat meat? Stick with dick, the safer lick. And basically what that's saying is,
so inspirational.
If you feel inspired, if you're feeling hungry for meat, just stick with dick, like cock, and then
get it.
You won't get cancer.
Why are you licking it though?
Because it rhymes with dick. Stick with dick, the safer lick. It's like a slogan.
I feel like this is Andrew's way of just asking us to blow him.
Yeah. It's the safer lick.
Hey, Lisa, don't want cancer? Blow me instead of going to McDonald's.
Wouldn't be the first time he asked for that.
So something, like some douchey, like, gym bro would, like, actually ask. Like, hey, baby, I just saw this in the news. Why don't you blow me?
Anything else to say about this, or should I move on?
No, I don't know. I feel like I know this is like cancer is never like something to put lightly or anything, but this seems to be kind of a moot point because of course anything that's processed or anything in excess is bad for you. I mean, I'm gonna have a fucking bacon cheeseburger at some point, but I'm not gonna have it every day. I think if we just have a healthy lifestyle within foods that are relatively good for us, at least what they're telling us now, and you know, put the ones that are bad for us, and just in small amounts. I don't think going cold turkey is, you know, completely necessary, but I also think you just need to take better care of yourself because something's going to happen, and cancer is usually, you know, the end result for a lot of this.
Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Except for Harry Potter.
Except for Harry Potter. Even if the author tells you 7 books and that's it, don't believe it. We found out this week that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, a stage play co-written by J.K. Rowling, is going to be a sequel after the events of Deathly Hallows following Harry and his son, Albus Severus, referred to as Al in some places, by the way, now. This was shocking because for the longest time, like I said, J.K. Rowling has said, though, you know, she would never say never, but there's probably not going to be an 8th Harry Potter book. And that's still true, but Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is being marketed specifically with a tagline that reads, the 8th story, 19 years later. And naturally, people lost their shit over this news. I mean, this is gigantic news. J.K. Rowling did co-write this. It is going to be a play that opens in London next July. Tickets on sale, by the way, this week. I'm going to be getting up in the middle of the night to try and purchase tickets for one of the earlier shows. How did you guys react to news that we're basically getting an 8th Harry Potter installment?
I mean, I was just glad that after 19 years later, we get something that isn't the shitty epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
And
I'm really excited.
I think it's really cool. I'm excited to see what happens. My only qualm is that I'm not a theater person. I don't like or enjoy plays as a general rule. There's been some exceptions, and I would certainly make an exception for J.K. Rowling, but I wish this were a book. I wish this were a novel. You know, I think if she were gonna do this, I'd prefer the old format. That said, it's still cool. It's still exciting. I just wish she had chosen different names for Harry's kids.
Well, maybe she could redeem herself.
Especially now. Like, if you're gonna...
Yeah,
I'm sure that's why he's
really
getting
good.
the nickname right now. She's like, oh God, that's a terrible name. Let's just call you Al.
I just want to know what kind of a story warrants a following to the epilogue with Harry and his son. Like, what could possibly happen?
So, in terms of it not being a book, she said that the only reason that this came together is because it was introduced to her as a play and it was developed as a play, which makes sense because there's different ways you can tell a story. The synopsis says, it was always difficult being Harry Potter, and it isn't much easier now that he is an overworked employee of the Ministry of Magic, a husband and father of 3 school-aged children. While Harry grapples with a past that refuses to stay where it belongs, his youngest son Albus must struggle with the weight of a family legacy he never wanted. As past and present fuse ominously, both father and son learn the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes darkness comes from unexpected places.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
I think it sounds interesting.
This sounds very adult and very dramatic. Kids are not going to like this.
Well, that answers why this is a play, probably, and not another book.
I can see this being in like a very intimate play, though, like something in a smaller venue. I wrote about the one big issue with this is that J.K. Rowling is marketing this as, quote, the 8th story. And if you were going to call this the 8th story, it needs to be accessible to everybody. So I'm hoping what happens, I doubt it's going to happen next summer when it opens on stage, but she needs to release the scripts. She needs to film this and get this in movie theaters, not as an adaptation, but just film the actual play. Because if you're releasing the 8th story, the fans around the world need to be able to enjoy it. The series has always been accessible to everybody, and cutting off 99% of the world is not right. So we'll see.
I would be incredibly surprised if they did not release the script.
Well, I agree.
You can walk into Barnes & Noble and buy scripts for all kinds of things.
After a couple months, like it's going to be on Wikipedia.
Well, that's what I mean. We'll have reports. We'll have people's shitty Tumblr recaps and whatnot. But how long is it going to take for her to release this in bookstores? If she waits 2 years, which wouldn't surprise me, I don't think that's right. But yes, like you said, if it does come out quickly, that's great. But
the way that it's written, I mean, the way that you just described the plot, or at least the synopsis, it doesn't sound like it's going to be very translatable onto onto a book. Like, it's not going to be of the same writing style, and even even the same writing style as in the previous books, because the previous books are very, very literary. Like, they encompass everything in the Harry Potter world. This seems to be a lot more intimate and personal. This seems to be between two characters that are in a confined area. I would not even be surprised if the cast is only just a few, which also leads me to think, to argue with the fact that this is the 8th story in the series. This sounds like something different from Harry's story. This sounds like something that's centered on Albus and his father. So I don't know if I would be so quick to say that this is the 8th book from the Harry Potter series.
I'm hoping there are more characters, and there's a bunch of ideas fans are wondering about. You know, she has a real opportunity here to change some perceptions. For example, what if Albus Severus isn't Slytherin? And we all know how Slytherin kind of has a bad rap in the fandom. Maybe she could use this opportunity to make Slytherins look like good people for once.
Mm-hmm. But I want to know, though, too, about this play. Is it really going to be aimed towards the fans of the books who've read the books and seen the film? Like, will it also be though enjoyable and at least at least written in a way where people who haven't seen it, who are with their family, can still follow the play and still enjoy it? Or would this be strictly for the fans?
Well, we'll see. Next summer, baby.
Yeah.
Book your flights.
Well, while Harry Potter is certainly our Bible, it's not everybody's. And I wanted to talk about the King James Bible in Hidden from the Headlines today. You liked that, didn't you?
I loved it. I so loved it.
Yeah.
Fucking did.
I love a girl who can do a good transition.
So the King James Bible was first published in 1611 because England's King James I decided that he wanted more political power. At the time, the most popular Bible was the Puritan Bible, and that Bible really kind of downplayed the divine rights of kings. It put all the emphasis on Jesus as Lord and Savior, and that the power rested between, you and God, and you didn't really need, a king or a monarch to oversee you. That didn't really play well with King James I, so he decided to write his own shit. 1611, that comes out. But for the first time, historians have discovered the origins of that Bible. A handwritten draft of the King James Bible was discovered in Cambridge, England 2 weeks ago. It contains handwriting of dozens of authors from 1604 to 1608, so the decade before it was published. The handwriting is such a crucial find because it reveals how they translated texts, how they assembled the text, where edits were made, where they were arguing with each other about where to put things in and where to leave things out. So it gives us the most insane level of insight into how the King James Bible came together. Of note, so far they have identified 47 separate writers and translators. 47. It was previously believed that there are somewhere between 10 and 20 people who have been on like a small council to put it together. But so far 47, and they're still going through it, and they're still identifying new text every day. And some of the coolest part for me is being able to look at it and see where they're fighting with each other. They're like, no, bitch, not this word, put that here. And it's like so catty. It's hilarious. So the reason I want to bring this up though is because the obvious conclusion is that this really kind of invalidates the King James Bible. I mean, at least that's the obvious draw, right? Is that it's very clear that this was the word of man, and not just 1 or 5 or 10 or 20, but 47. And so my question to you guys is, how do you reconcile that if you're somebody who does adhere to the King James Bible, which is like the most popular form today? How do you reconcile that, number one? And number two, do you think it's fair to even try to reconcile it? Because I'm sure people who do adhere to it would still tell you that faith is faith, and that they think these 47 people were writing the Word of God.
No one wrote the Word of God. There was always someone writing it. Like, it wasn't God who sent a fax down to Earth and said, well, here you go, guys.
I mean, I tend to agree with you, but just to play devil's advocate, they would say that those 47 people or what have you were divinely inspired, that it was them doing the writing, but that they had a connection with God.
It's a nice round number. God was like 47. Yes.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of remakes. So,
well,
I gotta say the original was better, but I'm kind of a prude that way.
Well, none of us have ever read the original because the Bible, and this is not the only time in history that the Bible has been essentially ripped to shreds and thrown back together. There are all sorts of chapters that were taken out of the Bible because they didn't sort of adhere to whatever the moral compass of the day was. I mean, there are chapters on black magic and reincarnation, things that we don't get to see because, you know, King James and the Vatican and all sorts of other groups went through and they kind of picked and chose what they wanted in the Bible. So it's not the first time this has happened. I would say, you know, I don't believe in trying to like talk shit on people's faith. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe any of this shit. But like, I don't think it's a shock and awe. I don't think that your faith in God or your religion or whatever you believe in needs to be tied to a book. I know plenty of people who consider themselves Christians and they say that they're like, being a Christian is about your relationship with Christ. It's not about your relationship with the Bible.
Or God.
So, Right. So they recognize that, yes, men have made these edits. Man has modified this text. But ultimately, I still have my faith in this separate entity. And I don't think that you necessarily have to lose that.
Yeah,
if the Bible has been edited.
I agree. This doesn't change anything, but I think that people who look up to this particular God should at least acknowledge that a lot of it is bullshit. I think a lot of people, no matter how many times revelations like this come out, no pun intended, I guess, that they still believe that, you know, God is real and the Bible was the Lord's word. And, I mean, my dad, like, you know, no matter how many times, I consider myself an atheist too, and no matter how many times I call out all this shit, he still, you know, just completely ignores it. I think that's what a large population of the, by the way, declining, practicing, Christian Catholic community do. They don't understand, or they don't accept that maybe things are bullshit.
I wonder if God sees Christians as like fangirls of his son.
Yeah, that could be one way to interpret it.
That could be.
That's assuming, well, the thing though is that I agree with what Laura was saying earlier. Your faith does not need to be dependent upon any physical anything, but particularly not a man-written book. But I think the trouble though is if your argument is that you as a Christian, your relationship is between you and Christ, and that's all you need. You don't necessarily need the Bible. How do you know what Christ stood for or what he said? How do you trust any of it when you know that at bare minimum there have been 47 people who've been writing it just since the 1600s, and the Bible itself dates back thousands of years. So there's likely thousands of people who have written it.
But there seems to be...
How do you know who Christ even is if this is your only record of him, and if that only record is so tainted by thousands of people?
I think it's the Christian faith in general of the Bible, the ones that I really agree with and I do respect, usually take the theme of the Bible itself and the teachings, not, you know, verbatim, who take direct quotes as like concrete word. Mm-hmm. They use it as just to help influence their lives and the values that it teaches, and just lets them use that as a basis to create a way of life that works for them. And I think what a lot of people tend to see are the Christians who use the Bible and use quotes as a means of concrete word and law that they can inflict on other people, saying that this is what it means. It says it right here on this book, and you're wrong.
And don't be so literal about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the literal Christians that tend to, that I guess we're kind of arguing towards.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I was sitting here thinking as you guys were discussing this, is that for hundreds of years, Christians have been picking and choosing the bits of the Bible that they like anyway. So I don't see how this should be any different. Quite frankly, if you look at the facts, the Gospels were written a couple hundred years after Christ would have existed. So that, to me, personally, makes it all seem like bullshit. However, to you, it may not seem like bullshit, and that's okay. And I don't care if you don't think it is. I just don't want you to be going around making other people's lives miserable in the name of this text.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already picking and choosing things that you don't like anyway, so why don't you just decide to let people live their lives?
Yeah. I mean,
agree,
we do it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I agree, and I think most people in this country, at least, who identify as Christian, are pretty chill. I think that also I wanted to point out, we're talking about Christians because this is a King James Bible, but I think most of what we're saying here is applicable to all organized religion.
Oh, yeah.
But that, anyway, I agree, and I have no problems. I mean, I think faith for a lot of people is just a source of comfort in difficult times, and I'm not going to be one to begrudge that of somebody. But I would like a genuine answer. If anybody is a practicing Christian or identifies as Christian, I don't mean this in a condescending way. I'm genuinely curious because I've never been able to get an answer from someone. How do you reconcile it? How do you know what Christ stood for, what he didn't? What if he really fucking hates chickens and he's like, thou shalt not eat fucking chicken? But it never got recorded, or maybe it did get recorded, but person number 1024 decided to erase that because they owned a chicken farm. Because right here, what we're seeing is King James Bible. This was clearly politically motivated. I mean, we know that. That's historical fact. So I guess that's all. That's just my question.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Well, he called bacon. It causes cancer.
Jesus is speaking to us today through that.
Well, actually, no,
study.
God did. Jesus didn't, because the people that do not eat pork do not believe in Jesus.
Mr. Chick-fil-A's head would explode if Jesus actually said, no chicken, do not kill the chicken. Okay, it is time now for Surprise Bitch. I have selected a phone number at random. This is Paige, and she is in Chicago. So, as we head into our Halloween discussion, we will ask her a question or two about her celebrations.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Paige.
Hello?
Hello, Paige.
Hello?
Paging Paige. Paige, can you hear me, Paige?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Paige.
It's Millennial.
It's Millennial. Where the hell are you?
Oh, I am in my university dining center right now. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. Are you eating Chick-fil-A by chance? Because we just found out that God didn't like chicken.
I did not find that out.
Okay. So I'll take that as a yes.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good,
It's
good.
raining out right now.
Is it? Oh, well, shit.
Well, where are you? Where are you from?
I go to Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois.
In Normal, Illinois?
Normal, Illinois.
That is a real place. Cool. All right.
Yeah, it is a real place. It's in it's the geographical center of Illinois.
I thought you were trying to imply that, you're not in a cool part, so don't even ask any questions about your local town or something like that.
I mean, you can. I actually live closer to Chicago, so that's where I grew up.
So, Paige, so this week, we're doing Surprise Bitch right before our discussion on Halloween, because it is this week. And so we're going to ask you maybe just a couple questions about Halloween, some scary stuff, if you're game to answer some questions.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh.
I work for I actually am a DJ at a radio station.
Really?
I'm known for it. Yeah.
So you're going to play Monster Mash?
Yes, I produce our Flashback Friday show at Fridays at noon. If you're ever, in Central Illinois, hit me up.
So cool.
So we're doing a Halloween show this week. So I've got my Halloween songs all planned out and everything.
Yeah. DJ Paige.
Yep.
DJ Paige. Okay. So Paige, so we're going to discuss, since Halloween kind of has the whole black cat superstition thing. Do you have any superstitions that are kind of weird or?
Not really, superstitions, but I definitely don't do, if I'm walking on a sidewalk, I won't, step on the cracks of the sidewalk. I'll pace my steps so I'm, not stepping on the cracks.
Oh my God, I do that too.
I do that all the time.
Because
I do it.
Yeah, so
because you'll break your mother's
pace,
back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll pace, there has to be 2 steps in between every, pace of the sidewalk, and I can't step on the cracks.
Oh my God,
I don't know if that's just
I time it too. If I take 1 step between one tile, and then I know that I'm going to be in the middle of one, so I have to take 2 steps on the next tile.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually
it's really good
somebody...
if you're...
I'm sorry.
What is that? Go ahead, Elisa. It's your show.
I was going to say, I knew somebody in college who we were walking to the dining hall one time, and she sort of screams and she stops and she gets her phone out and she places a call and she's like, Mom, you're okay, right? Okay, good. And that was it. I'm like, what the fuck? And she was like, I stepped on a crack and I literally cannot do that.
Oh my God. Okay, that girl needs
That's
to be
wild.
in solitary
Okay.
confinement.
So you're not alone.
All right.
Anyway, we're getting ready to talk about scary stories. We're going to share some of our own. Has anything weird or paranormal happened to you?
That you can remember?
Okay, so
Okay. Here we go.
I'm right on this. Okay, so I went to summer camp for 15 years of my life. That's a
Wow.
long time. And then I was
That's a lot.
Then I was a camp counselor. Yeah, and Stronghold in Oregon, Illinois. And so this main part of this camp is this giant house that looks like a castle. And it was built in the 1920s, so it's fairly old. And the guy who built it died about 2 years after they built it. And then when the wife lived there for the next 20 or 30 years. And I was just there volunteering for a weekend. And I was going to sleep in one of the parts of this house. And another person that was volunteering there was like, so have you seen the ghost at all? And I was like, no, I haven't. And so I don't really know if I believe in ghosts at all. But that whole weekend, every time I'm in there now, when it's after dark and all the lights are off, I run through this house because I'm I don't know what's going to come up. I don't know what's going to happen. So just every time I'm there now, I got my eye out.
Oh.
Have you ever seen or heard anything yourself?
I have not, but you can never be too sure. So.
You're just I'm just going to run anyway because I've seen those movies and I'm not going to be there.
Yes.
Well, maybe
And
this
so it's
year you should confront your fears, just overcome them.
Oh God. And I don't go to haunted houses at all. I don't watch scary movies. I don't do any of that just because I can't take things jumping out at me.
Yeah.
I will scream.
Yeah.
And I will yell.
I know somebody
and I just can't do it.
I know somebody just like that, and I subjected them to a haunted house type thing, and they lost their minds. It was awful. So I can only imagine how you would feel.
Yeah. So my friend the other day texted me. She's like, "I'm going to a haunted corn maze tonight," and I'm like,
Ooh.
How about we don't do that?
Bye. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. I'm not doing that. I like corn mazes. I'm all about that. But I'll do them in the dark. But as long as I know someone's not gonna jump out and scream at me, I am okay.
Yeah. Well, Paige, thank you so much for your support, and thank you for talking to us. You were a lot of fun to talk to.
Oh, well, thank you. Sorry you caught me at a bad time. I was sitting with my friends in the dining center.
Oh,
and
no
I was
problem.
someone, and it popped up on my phone, and it said unknown, and I was like, well, I don't know who this is. Maybe it's this life source. It's this blood donating company. It keeps calling me to get them to donate blood, and they call me from different numbers all the time, and I'm like, oh, it's probably this company calling me again. So I ignore them all the time, but I'm glad I picked up this time.
Yeah, or it could have been a ghost calling to haunt you or something. So,
oh, good God.
Especially this week, I can see why you wouldn't answer. So
Sleep well.
Yep.
All right, Paige. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy Halloween.
You.
Bye.
You too.
Oh, cut her off.
Aw.
Sorry.
Andrew.
You All right, that was Paige. Very fired up Paige. She's a good listener. We could have her on the show, I feel like.
We did.
I mean, as a co-host.
Yeah, no, she was great.
We're secretly auditioning all these, well, not secretly anymore because I just said it, but secretly auditioning all of our listeners when we call them.
No. There you go.
All right, so as obviously we all know by now, it is Halloween this Saturday night, and we wanted to wrap up the show talking all about Halloween. I guess we'll start with the history of Halloween as I turn on some Halloween music. Who does anybody know the history of Halloween? How it got started?
I can jump on this shit.
Oh,
I got this.
All right,
No,
do it.
I don't know anything. I was looking into this earlier, and Halloween, it's kind of difficult to trace the origins of everything, but in general, it can be said that Halloween started as a Celtic festival called Samhain in Ireland, obviously, and it was really sort of just like a fall festival like, winter's coming, we need to get all the food together, or we don't want to die. And so it became like, a big feast, and people would get together for it. What's interesting, though, is that one of the things that spurred out from the festival were people, poor people, would knock on their neighbors' doors because, winter's coming, right? So they need food. So they knock on their neighbors' doors, and they would perform little skits, little tricks, little plays right on their doorstep. And in exchange for like telling them a joke or performing a quick little play, they would get food. And then they would take the food and they would not starve. So that was like one of the first times that trick-or-treating, I guess, was found. And then, fun fact, that shit didn't start in the U.S. until after World War II. It's a relatively new thing.
Oh,
it started because of all the Irish and English settlers that were, or immigrants, I guess, at that point, all the Irish and English immigrants that were coming to the country, and they sort of revived those traditions here.
So, for everybody here on the panel, how does Halloween rank? Top favorite holiday?
Oh yeah, it's easily in my top 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it might be my top. No, top 2, definitely.
Halloween and Christmas for me. Halloween because
I love Christmas too. Yeah.
It gets darker earlier in the year, and everybody's trying to spook each other. You know what I hate though? This pumpkin spice craze. Now I can understand a little bit of pumpkin spice. I like the Thomas's English Muffin limited edition pumpkin muffins. But you go into Trader Joe's. It's a small food store here in America, and you just find all this random pumpkin spice shit, like pumpkin spice tortilla chips, pumpkin spice salsa, pumpkin spice dog treats. It's like, enough, right?
No,
Yeah.
I love it. I'm
a basic white bitch.
I'm basic as shit.
I don't understand why we call it pumpkin spice though, because it doesn't taste like pumpkin in any fashion.
It kind of does.
It does.
It's got not me.
does.
No, have you had like actual pumpkin?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
do I stick a spoon in a pumpkin and spoon it into my mouth?
Like the flavors are not pumpkin. It's I taste more nutmeg and cinnamon and.
Well, it's labeled pumpkin spice, and everybody becomes obsessed with it because of that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I like Halloween and Christmas are my 2 favorites. And I can't really tell which one's my favorite, only because both is where you can be really creative.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to, well, for Christmas, you get to be creative and trying to find ways of like giving gifts out and celebrating. And the same thing goes with Halloween. You can be really clever with your costumes for trick or treating, or you can decorate your entire apartment or your house into like the Walking Dead's prison or a haunted house. Or
is that what you're doing? What is everybody
sex
being
dungeon.
for Halloween this year? Actually, Andrew, what are you dressing up as?
If I have time, I'm kind of busy this week, but me and my boyfriend, I think, are going to go as the gay couple emoji, as seen on the
That's really
iPhone.
good. That's really good.
So the one wears a blue shirt, the other wears an orange, and certain colored pants, and that's it. Quick and easy and cheap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Elisa, what are you going up? Oh, yeah, Laura, you go.
First.
Okay.
Well, I haven't really decided yet. I don't really have a lot of time to put together a costume. But I do have a t-shirt from an undisclosed tech company. And I'm not going to name them, but I was thinking of like tearing up the shirt and putting fake blood on it and being a zombie employee of that company/store. But I don't know. I don't know if I have time to put together.
I think you should go as Donald Trump, because you guys believe in the same values. He's a role model to you. And
we look the same.
You look the same.
I look like a man who's about to die, with an orange wig. Yeah.
Shit.
No, I mean, so last year I didn't have a costume either, but what I cleverly did was I decided to tell people that my costume was white girl wasted, because that's exactly what I was. So maybe I'll do that again this year.
Cool. Matt, what about you?
Can't really top that. I'm kind of actually in between two costumes, and I might, if I do finish both, I'm gonna wear two costumes this weekend. I'm going. My boyfriend is actually making me a xenomorph alien costume from scratch, so it's gonna be. I have no idea what. Well, it's like in pieces right now, so we'll see how. I'm going as a slutty alien. And
Oh, God.
Slutty alien.
Slutty alien.
Now,
And then
last year you went as the nudes in the cloud. So what,
I went as the iCloud leak. Yeah.
So what's with all these sex-inspired choices?
It's Halloween. I also live on a parade route in West Hollywood in LA, and it is the number one Halloween parade in, I think, even the entire world, definitely the country. And there's no argument in it, guys. So don't respond saying, "Oh no, that's not true. Chicago or New York has it." It's true. There's at least, the very minimum, there's at least 500,000 people that show up to this 1 mile of walk face. And I think last year actually it was 700,000 they estimated.
And
so
this year it's going to be even worse because it's a Saturday night.
It's Saturday this weekend. So, I think it's just fun to make everything just a little bit sluttier. It just kind of does a little.
So getting back onto the topic.
It's a little extra. It's just a little extra that goes with your costume.
Show a little extra tit.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be wearing those second skin bodysuits, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit to the costume, but it's mostly just gonna be like a minimalist costume. My other costume though,
you mean you're going naked. That's what's happening.
I will not be wearing clothes underneath my clothes.
Okay, that's good.
What's your second costume?
My second costume is I'm going as Seymour and Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. And so I'm making the plant. I'm making a puppet plant, and I'm just gonna go as Seymour, the character.
Yeah, these are fucking creative.
So
it's fun.
Elisa,
damn it!
You have a good question here, relating to Matt. Why is everything so slutty now, Halloween costume wise? And they're marketed as slutty too.
Well, okay, so
haven't you seen Mean Girls? They answered this question.
That's what I'm going to do. Slutty is just an excuse to dress up as a slut, but I don't do it for that reason, and I don't think many people do. I think it's just an extra way of twisting the costume that's been done a million times into something that you did.
That's fair.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. First of all, I want to be very clear. I am not a fan of the word slut. I don't like any of the implications, whatever. I don't think there's really such a thing as being slutty. I think if someone's super body positive and they want to go out and do their thing naked, more power to you. That being said, there are some things that shouldn't be sexualized. There are some things, like there's a giant Halloween store right down the street from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
There are slutty Cookie Monster outfits. There are, this is not a joke. Do you want to know what it is? It's a furry blue bikini. That's what it is. And then it comes with a giant plastic cookie. And incidentally, on the ass of the blue furry bikini bottom is a half-bitten cookie. Like, you're taking it right out of their ass.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys. There are some things, I have no issues, if a girl or a guy wants to go out there and, do their thing, but, there are some things that are meant for children. Do we really want to see slutty Barney the dinosaur? We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, but, okay, my issue with, I do not really condone, I haven't done this in a long time, but, and my reasoning is, I don't like buying my costume. And I like making it. Even if it's not from scratch, I just go to a Goodwill and just put on layers of clothes that I find and make it into a costume.
Your birthday suit was definitely made from scratch, Matt.
It's been done though so many times. But the quote unquote slutty Cookie Monster or slutty baby mama, I don't know, but I also hate the way that the Halloween costumes are titled. Yeah. I think it's just I just think it's a cheap way.
I don't like it when anyone calls anything slutty just because it's
I know,
I feel
and
it's shaming people for being
of course
sexual.
it is, and I know shit, man. I'm already seeing our Facebook Paige is going to be blowing up with a lot of the stuff that mostly be agreeing with you, Lisa. And
I'm looking at partycity.com and I see adult seductive Snow White costume, adult provocative cat costume.
mm-hmm.
I think it's a lack of creativity. Honestly, like you can take anything and make it slutty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so I think ultimately what it is, it's just people who are at a loss for how to creatively costume themselves.
I think
They
it's
say, like,
people
I'm gonna
at a loss for how to creatively have sex.
Well, that's it too.
I guess so. I definitely see what you girls are saying, but
So
whatever.
So where do we draw the line on offensiveness? Blackface, I think we're on an agreement. That's offensive.
Yeah.
I saw an article on Gawker this week. People are doing it again this year, doing the blackface, and it's like, come on, people. But if you want to dress up as a woman and you're a man or whatever, that's fine, right? I've done that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with that.
The blackface thing, the reason, I want to be clear, if there's like, you know, like a 10-year-old kid out there in blackface, I think that's really inappropriate and his parents should be talked to. But like, you know, I think a lot of that has to do with ignorance and not genuine malice. I think that's what that is. It's still offensive, but I think it's ignorance more than malice, when it's children, particularly. The point, though, is where do we draw a line? Because what about, for example, I'm a fan of the football team, the Washington Redskins, and they've gotten a lot of flack, understandably recently, for their name, Redskins. I could talk about that all day, but what if somebody dresses up as a Native American? I mean, that's a real costume that's actually very common, very popular, is Native American. Doesn't have necessarily the exact same history as blackface in our history of racism, but like against black people, but isn't it kind of close?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I feel like when you are attempting to dress up as a member of like a racial or ethnic group that is currently still in existence, you're stereotyping them. You're reducing them to a fucking like beaded dress with a feather sticking out of your head. Like that's what those costumes look like. And I think that is offensive. And the names are offensive. I saw a friend who put up a picture of herself in one of those costumes, and it was called Polka Hotness.
Oh, God.
It's so bad. So, yes, like, why do you feel the need to dress up like a slutty geisha?
I really think it's ignorance.
I think
I think
I don't care. I still
better
think it's
judgment when you choose these kind of things. It's, you know, I think it's you're always walking a thin line when you dress up as a cultured in cultured robes, so to speak, especially in ones that are kind of not stereotypical, but that are kind of controversial.
I would also, I mean, this is the last point I'm going to make on this is I think, so I know someone personally who's Jewish, and she's dressing up as an Orthodox Jew, meaning with like, you know, the longer hair and like the curls on the side and all of that. I still think that's offensive, even though she herself is Jewish culturally. She's not practicing. I still think that like that shouldn't happen because like Orthodox Jews are not a mythical creature. They're not like zombies. They're like real. And I don't know. I still find
it's not
that
a
little
costume
odd.
though.
It's not exactly. It's not a costume. That's exactly right. If something's not a
there
costume,
are so many
it's a
options.
culture, not a costume. Like,
yeah, that's exactly it. Like no one, even Native American robes,
I think it's odd. That's not cool.
Yeah, it's just come on, guys. Like it's Halloween. And also people who like to push their personal agenda or their personal beliefs on things, who use it as like almost like a public protest or demonstration. Like I'm an aborted fetus. I am the liberal agenda.
God. I hope no one does that, please.
I bet somebody out there does it.
I'm a family that's been ruined by gay marriage.
Yeah, like that too.
Oh my God, guys. Can we, next Halloween, the four of us have to get together and be a family that's been ruined by gay marriage.
What, like divorce papers dragging at our feet and
and
miserable faces?
Yeah, and like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, we should. We should each like branch off into like boy girl couples and be like the same sex, like holding each other's hands in the back while they're putting their arm around their wife or husband. Oh, it's perfect. It's like the secret life.
Creative.
So
Yeah.
to wrap this up and to close out our show, we wanted to each tell a scary story or offer a spooky anecdote. So who would like to start?
I can start.
Oh god.
Okay. So this happened, and this is a real story, guys. So like, buckle up. This shit's scary. So this happened when I was about 10 years old, when I was living in Texas. My mom had to run a quick errand one afternoon, and my dad was at work. So she took my brother with her, and I didn't want to go because I was busy playing Crash Bandicoot on my PS1. So I was definitely staying home. So my mom leaves, and I'm sitting on the floor in the living room of our duplex, and in my peripheral vision, I can see the entrance to my bedroom. So I'm playing Crash, and all of a sudden, I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And mind you, it's like Texas in August, so it's not cold at all. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell? But, like, I had just gotten the sweet Unabaga mask, so I wasn't about to fuck that up by being scared. Then a few minutes later, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a massively tall, and I'm talking floor to ceiling, black cloaked figure walking into my bedroom. I was terrified to sleep there for months after that. I don't even remember what I did after I saw it. Like, I totally blanked out. But for years afterwards, I tried to get people to believe me, and nobody would believe me. But looking back, I had a really active imagination, and I had just finished reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I think I had Dementors on the mind.
I believe you. I think it happened. I think you need to stand your fucking ground, Laura.
So
So
that's what
will
happened.
continue.
That's scary as shit.
It was pretty terrifying. I was scared. Like, for months after that, I actually got into the habit of sleeping on my back because I was terrified that it would, like, come up and grab me.
Yeah, and stab you in your sleep in the back.
Ugh.
It couldn't stab me in the front. As long as I had blankets over me, I was safe.
White people problems.
I don't have a scary story per se, but I was trying to rack my brain for something, but what I did remember is back when I was a kid, in the basement where we had the video games and the family computer and everything, my dad also had his kind of a man cave. It was kind of in a separate portion of the basement. And in his man cave, he had a statue. It was like a caricature. It had a large head and a small body of Groucho Marx, the old comedian. And I don't know how my dad had this or whatever, but he's smoking a cigar, and the Groucho Marx statue is, and it sits on the top shelf in the man cave, right at the back, centered nicely with he's kind of like looking down at the pool table, the billiards table. And for whatever reason, I developed an irrational fear of this Groucho Marx statue that it would come to life. And for years, as a child, I would refuse to go into the basement by myself or be down there with the lights off because I was always afraid that Groucho was going to come to life and, I guess, kill me or something. And then whenever I would hear noises in the house at night, even if I was 2 floors up in my bedroom, I would always think it was Groucho Marx. And to this day, he kind of spooks me out a little bit because I kind of grew up scared of him. But it was just so stupid that I developed an irrational fear of this damn statue that was like a foot tall.
That's so funny.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. Like, and it could also be potentially because you were scared to be in the basement by yourself, so you just placed your fear
In
of that
figure,
on.
that
Yeah.
horrific, ugly-ass Groucho Marx statue.
Does your dad still have it?
Oh, yeah. Next time I'm back, I'll take a picture and put it in the group and freak everybody out.
That's hilarious.
Is it my turn? It's my turn, I think.
Sure.
Okay, well, I do have like a kind of a creepy story that gave me nightmares for a bit. It was a story with my sister when about 15 years ago. I was when I was at night, my sister would have this little thing where she would get up and start sleepwalking.
Oh,
It was only
fuck
it was
that.
only temporary. Like it only happened, I think, less than a handful of times. But there was one time when I was asleep, I woke up to something, and I turned around, and my sister was standing next to my bed, just looking at me while she was asleep. And what was she doing? Oh, she was she was whimpering while she was asleep. So she was just looking right down at me from the side of my bedpost and just whimpering, going, "Oh, oh."
I would have punched her right
And
in the
then,
Wet
face.
dream?
No, she was just saying it, and then I said her name, and like she didn't answer. She just walked back into her room and then fell back asleep. But like I couldn't go back to sleep. Like I was up the entire night, I remember, and I was terrified. Like that's one of the moments where you're thinking like, oh my God, am I gonna die?
Yeah,
And it was
because-
my little sister.
Because when somebody's like out of body like that, it's surreal.
Yeah, like she could have just like went into like a state of hysteria and took out a axe or something and chopped me up.
You guys
At
kept
least that's what
axes in your room?
Doesn't everybody?
Elisa, what's your story? I'm sure you have the scariest of them all.
This is another story from Chickahominy.
Uh-oh.
I think we've talked most about this on After Dark. So Chickahominy is this old, like 120-year-old mansion that's been in my family forever. It's on the water in the middle of nowhere. It's a perfect plot place for Stephen King. So this is a story of how I heard my mother screaming, and it turned out to not be my mother. I was at Chickahominy, and I was actually just gotten off the phone with Laura. This was maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. And it was the dead of winter, and I was in the downstairs bathroom, which is at the foot of a staircase. And I just hung up with her. It's probably about, 2 or 3 in the morning. It was really late. And I was starting to wash my face. And as I'm just bent over the sink and scrubbing my face, I hear my mom just start screaming, "What? What?" And it had this sense of like shock and horror. The only way to describe it is as though she was screaming, "What?" Like someone had just died, and she had literally just found out that someone had died. In fact, my first thought was, oh my God, my dad. Because the only people in the house were me, my mom, and my brother. My dad was out traveling for work. So I immediately, my heart sinks into my gut, and I just think, Jesus, my dad, what's going on? So I hurry up and try to finish washing my face and pat my face dry, and I keep hearing like, "No, no, no," over and over again, and then just like violent sobbing like somebody has just like lost their child. And then I hear the person, and I think it's my mom, I hear them running up and down the staircase right outside the door. I fling the door open, and I'm like, "Mom, what's going on?" And there's nothing there. Now the sounds are upstairs at the top of the staircase, and it's right in front of me. I can hear the sobbing and the screaming over and over again, and I'm like trying to feel my way through the dark to find my mother. But there's nothing there at the top of the staircase. The closer I get to it, the further away it moves. Now I'm really fucking freaked out because at this point, it still has not occurred to me that it's not my mother. I still think it's her because it sounded exactly like her. I run down the hallway. I'm upstairs at this point. I run down the hallway. I don't hear any more screaming. I fling the door open to my mother's bedroom, and she's asleep. She's laying there with the TV on in the background, and she's just asleep. And I freeze. I get goosebumps, and I feel the hair stand up on my neck. I start crying, not out of sadness, but genuine terror. And I run over to her, and I shake her awake, and I tell her what just happened. And she's like, "Honey, I've been asleep since like 10 p.m. Like, what are you doing awake?" I was so scared. I mean, again, I was in my 20s at this point. I wasn't a child. I make her come to bed with me.
Aw.
She comes into my room with me, and I'm like 21 years old. I make her sleep with me that night because I could not get the sounds of her screaming out of my head. The next morning, I didn't really sleep at all, but the next morning, we're downstairs having breakfast, and my brother comes down, and he goes, "By the way, who was crying last night?" And I'm like, "Peace out."
Oh my god, Lisa, you need.
Done.
God, your life, your growing up childhood is just one big nightmare.
Yeah, I can't believe. I mean, you guys should have called like the Ghostbusters or something, like some paranormal detective service to figure out what the hell goes on in your life all the time.
I'm not kidding you. Even just like, I can't describe to you the pure like anguish that was in those screams. Like just remembering it, telling that story, I get goosebumps. It was unreal.
Wow.
I can't wait until all four of us go back there together.
We
It's
do.
gonna be so great.
We need
/ terrible.
We need to do like a live show from Chickahominy and introduce people to the horror.
Live show? I can't even get cell service there. How are we going to do that?
That's true. That's true.
No, we could do like one of those found footage films.
Oh my
After
god.
we all die, they find our iPhones.
They're gonna
Piece together all the data.
Well, coming up on After Dark, we're going to be talking more about Halloween, and as we spoke about before, we're going to figure out what other babies we would kill. So two very dark topics for After Dark this week.
Oh my god.
We're going to talk about traditions and movies related to Halloween, too, because there's so many great traditions and so many great movies, Halloween movies, so we'll talk about as many as we can.
Okay.
To wrap up today's show, we are going to close out with the Monster Mash. But first of all, I just want to remind everybody about that survey on millennialshow.com. I was just looking at the results. We got a lot of feedback so far already, so thank you. But there's still several more thousand of you to go. So just visit millennialshow.com and you'll see a link for the Patreon right at the top. Speaking of Patreon, maybe you're interested in helping us getting to those host challenges, or maybe you're interested in a t-shirt. Just go to patreon.com/millennial, sign up. You'll get lots of bonus content. By the way, last week, we had a shitload of bonus content.
Yeah.
We had
we really did.
Uncle Joe outtake. We had a long ass After Dark. It was like 45 minutes. We also had a long hashing it out. So a lot of great stuff, including if you want to cry, I understand you should watch Elisa's vlog. She posted a very
Oh, it
serious
really
vlog.
was amazing.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to watching that and crying, I guess.
Prepare
I guess I'm gonna
Kleenex.
cry.
I just elicit all kinds of emotions here tonight.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Once again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Elisa.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Matt.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
Christ.
We'll see everybody next week for episode 39. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master